Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for coming. This is the title of my talk, Owning the Experience Frontend in a Product-Focused Era. That ChatGPT didn't help me with the background, but it helped me with the actual title. So my name is Adrian. I'm the Frontend tech lead at UnderwriteMe. I work on bringing our tech stack to the modern world. I'm joined UnderwriteMe in July as the first front-end engineer ever in the company after 12 years. So I've been very busy, very busy. It's been quite a ride. And yeah, but I've been doing this for, working on the web for almost 20 years. And during this time, I've seen quite a bit of products and things. And what I want to reflect today and talk today is a little bit about areas that I think front engineers can take ownership and dedicate the resources to that can impact the product. That is not like the core product, right? Like building the UI for the product you're trying to sell necessarily. So, but first, we need to go back a little bit to try to compare ourselves, right, to how things were. When I started working the web, things were very simple. You have your server, your PHP, your ASP, you output some random HTML, you maybe load, I don't know, a GIF to make a round corner, maybe some 15 jQuery plugins in a file, and maybe you didn't have CSS because it's all styles. Tailwind, but the grandpa. Now, today, and I think that Monal explained it pretty well, I mean, things are gone like pretty nuts, right? Things are incredibly complex, right? We're no longer be able to contain a website or web page in a single URL. Things like load asynchronously. We have like mobile, right, on its own, like with all this CSS changing and all these viewports. We have UI streaming. We have islands of interactivity, hydration, all sorts of things. And that represents a big challenge and a big change on how things work. But companies, they still see the front-end engineering as this little thing, right? The little brother of this big boy, which is the back-end engineering, which is what takes the spotlight most of the time. And I've seen in many places, here, right? Where it's like, yeah, front-end, you know what? The back-end engineers can do front. It will be fine. It's just buttons, right, there. Yeah, I can, no, right? No, you just need to go to our website and you will see. Working on it. So yeah, companies keep doing it, and it's not just here, right? I've been saying this over and over again because people have this vision of how front-end was like 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they haven't changed that. And for me, the most fundamental change that we can make, right, is changing who owns the URL, right? For me, it has been like the biggest transition ever. When I joined, it's like the backend will tell you, this is your HTML, just deal with it, right? Just figure it out. But now it's like, no, that doesn't work because I need hydration. I need to do a suspense thing, server actions, blah, blah. It doesn't work. I can't use the tools I need to use to do my day-to-day job if I don't own the URL. The simple, most obvious solution to that is to give the front engineers the capability to handle those URLs. So BFFs, right? Backends for frontend, right? I always find it hilarious that they call BFFs. I can't get over it. Find it amazing. But it's true, right? It's like having your little backend that doesn't fulfill like a very challenging proposition. It's just using the experience that you have, knowing how the browser works and all the frameworks, as Monal said, all these different billion frameworks that are announced every day, to empower the product and to make it better, right? And if you don't know it, it's really hard because you can go to a Java developer and explain them what a React border is or island is or streaming UI. It's not what they do. It's not what they understand, right? And it makes sense, right? It's not part of the core competencies. This is one of the reasons and one of the things we're doing here, and I think it's one of the reasons to a lot of frameworks like Next.js getting a lot of traction because it gives you that, and I've seen it apply in many positions where you have this self-contained little UI that includes like both rendering and maybe some light data fetching, and then you have your core complicated API, and the Java architects can go and do Kubernetes and redundancy and queues and whatever the hell they want to do. And it's great, right? You don't mess the stuff. They don't mess yours. It's all a clean cut. It works so nice, so much better. But companies still don't see it and struggle with this every single day. And I keep seeing it over and over. Then another thing that I found, and I found again here too, right? But I found also in previous positions, is analytics. And when I'll refer to that before too. Analytics is it's bad for frontend, right? It's like people don't like it. It's like it's Google tracking random stuff, the damn Facebook pixel that loads like 50 bazillion JavaScript, which is true, right? It's pretty bad in general. But on the other hand, right, we're building products that are more and more complex every single day, right? Being able to tell how our products are used, which features that we have are worth developing or pursuing, or which things people like or don't like, is essential. You can build a product in isolation, right, nowadays, because the landscape is very competitive. You have an idea, there are 50 products that do the same thing, right? And in order to know how to differentiate what things to pursue, you need to know what the users do, right? That tends to user testing and things like that, but traditionally, as I said, like front engineers have seen this as a problem, like, this is the marketing people just making me do this. What it should be the other way around. You should try to help the marketing people do a good job. I see in many places, when you get a marketing team and someone explained to them what a tag manager is. I don't know if you work with tag managers before, but basically it's like a system that lets them inject JavaScript in your UI. A marketing person, right? That's not good, right? That's not good. And I've seen the effects of that. That is really bad. But it's very powerful and very useful, right? Because it allows you to track things that usually are a bit hard to track, or to change the tracking really fast, depending on your releases. It actually has advantages. But you can't just let the marketing team handle that kind of stuff. You need to go ahead and say, okay, you want to do analytics? Sure, that's fine. We will help you because I can tell you how to do it properly. And it's not, I've seen it so many times, like the poor marketing people trying to figure out, how do I know when I add it to cart? It's like they click on this button, right? And then they go to the tag manager, and you know how they define the button? With the CSS selectors, right? You know what happens when you have a tailwind app? That your CSS selectors are like this, right? And they depend on the color. Then I change the color, your analytics are gone, right? It's not going to work, right? They need us to go and help them do their job properly and take ownership of that part too, that traditionally we don't care. And we do that to help them, obviously, good collaboration, but also because we can get a lot of information, right? Get all the frustration points of the API. We recently redone the registration process, and I'm seeing all sorts of weird stuff happening in the process because the users try to go back in the browser, right? Another good example of things that can go wrong, and then we push them back, and then they go forward, and then they back, and then forward. I noticed that because I saw in analytics, right? Super useful. The other thing that I think that has been neglected quite a bit, and I've seen these for the longest time, is the branding. And what I mean the branding is, sure, we all have our product, right? And we build this product. We have, I don't know, a dashboard, a tool, a SaaS, whatever. But there is related or not core websites that we usually handle, like a microsite, a marketing microsite. We may have some documentation, some tutorials. It's been, I don't know if before here, which we are doing right now, if I have seen one company that didn't default to outsource all of, well, here they default to that, to outsource all of this, right? You have your front engineers that are very busy, they are working on building the product, right? So we're gonna have a website, it's gonna be a horrible mess. You open the phone, doesn't work, you Google it, it doesn't show up, right? We're gonna send documentation to the customers. It's just a random Confluence page that someone shares. That's it. That's what your customer sees. That doesn't work, right? That doesn't give you a professional and nice and polished experience. You want to build not just the core product, but also you should go and take ownership of all these things. And I think as a result, the product will be much better. It's been like again, many, many companies where I think that they have a very good proposition, a very good product, and it works really, really well, but you can't even Google them. It's like you Google them and nothing shows up, right? And that's the worst thing that can happen to you, the perception of the users when they come and try to find your product and can't find them. Not only that, but, and this is something that's happening to us, it extends to hiring, right? We can hire people when people look at our company and we have a website that's been built like 15 years ago, it sucks, right? It's like because you put an offer there, and Penny's laughing, because you put an offer there, they go to the website, like, I'm not working there. Like, doing what? Doing that? It's like, forget about it, right? It's like, there is no chance I will go work for that team. It's so, so important because it's the public image that basically people have about you and your company. And we should try to, as front engineers, trying to stand our competencies and try to take ownership of those areas too. Now, all of this is great, but obviously, it's not that easy, right? With great power comes great responsibility, and more so comes a lot of work. And I know because I'm doing it right now. I've been doing it since July. And it's not easy, right? I've been pulled by many different things in many different directions. Hopefully I have a great team working with me. But it's a lot of work, and it's not always going to work. You can tell a company with a single front engineer, hey, you need to own all of this, right? And this is the reason why sometimes we find this situation where things are not owned by the right person. It's just because when things started, maybe it wasn't enough people, we didn't have resources, we can make it happen. But as we grow up, right, as you're part of a front engineering team, the team grows up and you start working on your core product and you build your basic functionality and you polish it, at some point you need to go take a step back and start thinking about like, what else can we do to improve the product? What else can we do to help the experience of our customers, of our users, of our team members, right? And try to take ownership of the things that that you feel you can take, and slowly, bit by bit, keep building it up until it can just be as good as possible. And that's it. I think I want to be fast, but I'm melting, so thank you.